Okay, so I'm starting to get this framed in a little more. Currently, this is basically how it was originally, except these 1x2s were 1x1s, which is pretty weak. Travel trailers, RVs are generally not built very well. I've already upgraded that. Normally what was on top, this is countertops are normally 3/4 inch particle board, and I'm not going to be using that. I'm using some other material I just happen to have on hand. So because it's going to be a teeny bit thinner, because it's going to be a teeny bit thicker afterwards, because I'm probably going to do an epoxy pour on this. So to compensate for that, I have to make the submaterial a teeny bit thinner. But that also is going to make it not as strong. So to compensate for that weakness, this wide open area, which this is how it was originally, I'm going to add some additional bracing just to make sure that it can't flex at all. So it probably won't be an issue, but better safe than sorry. And it's not that much weight being added to the trailer. You know, we're talking like a pound each stick here. These are, I'm going to use these some 2x2 scrap material I had laying around. I'm going to put those in here. So, and all I'm going to do is I'm going to glue them in and tack them in. For now, when I do the countertop, everything's going to have additional gluing and screwing together. So overall, it's going to be way stronger than it was originally. Glue. I want to make sure that this is flush. Or I want to make sure it's flush, so when I put the countertop in here, it's not risen up and going to cause me any problems. Feel that, it's nice and flush. That's good. This back edge back here, because this is not a perfectly straight up and down wall, this top is not perfectly level across. So I'm going to make sure and use something to make sure I'm getting that back edge where the submaterial will be sitting on, even with the top of my support. There we go. Not quite perfect. It's going to be a pain in the ass to get right. There we go. Come on. Another nice thing about this, because this back edge is at an angle, and I kind of ripped it down to make it so it would be perfect, but then I have to pull out the table saw, yada yada yada. It's also, originally the 1x2s were the same way, and you couldn't see from the video, but this whole back edge had basically curved down because the support was so bad, because this edge was so not great. By having this perfectly flat across here, and even with this very back edge of this 1x2, it's going to make sure that this whole top stays nice and flat. As I always say, don't do what I do. You should wear eye protection anytime using a air gun, stapler, nailer, whatever. You do hit stuff sometimes, and things do shooting. I have been hit in the head once or twice. Fortunately not in the eye, but it could happen, so wear eye protection. Also, whenever using a nail or staple gun, be mindful. Not only could it, even if it doesn't, like for example right there, what just happened, had I had my finger there, it went through a teeny bit, which is not a big deal, I take care of that, but had I had my finger sitting there while I was holding that, it'll shoot in and it can hit you in the skin. If it's skin, it's going to hurt, but if it hits a joint or bone, that hurts like hell. Don't ask me how I know. Okay, so that's those two. So the sink is going to sit in here this way. I may have got those too close. What I'll probably do is run out and grab my the original countertop I cut off this and sit on there, as I think maybe this is going to be too close to the sink edge. In fact, I pretty much know it will. Damn it to hell. Okay, well, I got a couple braces in here. I'll show that real quick in a second. Before I put a countertop on this, I'm going to put the guides, whatever you want to call them, the drawers in while the top's open. It's a lot easier to screw them in from the top while it's open than try and reach in this tiny little hole while it's closed. So take advantage of the situation here real quick. That it's gonna piss me off. I won't do it at all. Yay! One screw in. One half. These are way overkill for this application. These are, I believe, 100 foot-pound 100-pound load full extension glides, but they happen to be what I have on hand, and I won't ever have to worry about them breaking. So a little overkill, but oh well. Well, that is far and away the two easiest glides I've ever put in. Normally, in a closed cabinet, you're putting them in, you got to measure and reach into a closed space. In this particular case, there's already a pre-existing shelf that's the right height, so all I had to do is match them flush to the end, screw them in flush to the bottom, and then they're done. I'll make a drawer that fits in here, and I'll just pull these out, screw that into the side of the drawer, and easy peasy lemon squeezy. Normally it doesn't go quite that easy. Normally it doesn't go that easy at all, actually. So, can't remember if I filmed this yet or not. Okay. So I put some additional bracing in here. The original countertop didn't have these. All it had was the two back pieces, and those are just 1x1s. I put 1x2s in. I've added these 2x2s for additional support because this is a wide space. And I just don't want that, that the surface could concave over time. By putting these in, that would just be less possible for that to happen. And also in this back corner, this whole back had actually sunk down because it wasn't very well secured. It just screwed in the wall, and it's screwed in the wall this time too, but I'm going to put an additional brace straight down to this to hold this corner up, and this will get connected to each other. And the ends on this one, I'm connecting to the ends of the existing cabinetry as well, so there's no way those ends can come down. So it's better than it was two different ways. One, it's more secure to the wall, which is the way it was done before, and two, I'm adding additional secure points so that it can't sink. So this will stay, when I put it in, it won't be moving anywhere.